Welcome to Timber&Terra. I'm Glenn, and it's finally time to process some firewood. I really wanted to be doing this last fall, but winter I guess came too quick and too harsh for me to do much in the fall. So I have maybe, I don't know how many there are cords, maybe 5-6 cords of 16-foot long lumber or timber here, firewood logs that I brought down from my wood lot. So this is all good hardwood. Mostly maple, some ash, some yellow birch. So one good thing about having this sort of independent power supply on this trailer instead of having it connected to the tractor is I can use it like this just to move logs without having to hook my tractor up. So this is where I left off. So these were cut and just never split or put away. You can see the lighter colored wood, that's the last that we did this fall. So now I have these two racks that are empty. You start up the splitter and just get going again. These racks that I use are a half a cord each, so they're 8 feet long, 4 feet high to the top of here, to the bottom of that. And because I use 2 feet long material, that's half a cord. If I use 16-inch, like that one over there is for our kitchen stove, that would be a third of a cord. So let's get to it. So if each of these are half a cord, you can see these are actually going on their second year of seasoning, which would be great. So 1, 2, 3, 4, so there's 5 cords here. Ideally I would have had all of them in their second year of seasoning, but it's just not in the cards. I don't know what you could see of me picking up this first one, but I thought it was just heavy. It's the first time I picked it up, but I thought I could pick these up with no problem. The issue was sometimes the back end became really light, but with my winch on the back it should have been fine. But I think what happened is I think this corner here was actually caught on this. Maybe you saw that over on the other side. Maybe you saw that, and then I was trying to lift it up, you know, jerking the tilt, the bucket tilt or fork tilt a little bit, and then I lost the top part of that, had to repile it. But I'm good for now. So to me, for me to do more of this pile here, I really would have to move this back. I really would like a longer reach. That's a 1400, so that's a 14-foot reach. What I'd really like is a 16-foot boom with a 3-foot extension. Obviously, with the further you go out, the less capacity you have, but for the most part, what I need to do here is just grab the middle of it. But if I'm not perpendicular to this pile, it's very hard for me to get that, to get in the center of those and balanced. But if I had that extension, a 3-foot extension, you just grab it in the middle, you know, lift up a bit, and then retract the extension back to, you know, get the stability and the lift capacity, and then lift it up. It might be in the cards, I don't know. So with these, they're actually very simple detached. There's just 4 bolts right there, and this whole unit, the engine, the boom, the stabilizers all come off. The trailer separate. The trailer I'm fine with. It's a perfect size. I like it. I have had videos of using this firewood table before. For the most part, I'm pretty happy with it. You know, so there are some times where it's hard when you have too many logs. Sometimes they get crossed up and it pinches the blade or the bar of the chainsaw a little bit. And if it's bowed up, then I have to go underneath and finish cutting from the top, or it'll pinch. So I have a bunch of projects here that I really like to get wrapped up. Doing firewood for next year is one project. Collecting a small pile in the field of these pasture spruce and bring them to the sawmill is another project. Taking those cedar and finish collecting them. Actually, probably have some more to cut. Collect them, and I'd like to take at least a full trailer load of cedar to the mill. So that's another project. And then these two, most of these fir and spruce saw logs are out in the wood still, but I have 2 here brought back with the cedar. So collecting those and arranging to have those picked up and delivered to the sawmill is another project. And then I have firewood. So until probably the next time I do firewood, I'm going to go out and collect some of this in the field. You can see a small pile there, there's one there. I have several more by the pond, which maybe you saw that was earlier in the winter near where I'm making the corduroy road, and the corduroy road is another project. Right now they're all in the middle of it, which I really don't like. I don't mind having 1 or 2 projects sort of in process at the same time, but having this many is just not my cup of tea. So I'd really like to finish some up, but right now the woods are so muddy and so wet. This really was the only thing I could reasonably work on. But I think I may try to finish up the cedar project, at least cut the remaining cedar trees that I'd like, and then use that trail there and collect the cedar when it dries up enough. And where I have the cedar should be relatively easy to access without doing too much, making too many ruts. You probably noticed I did take the chains off the tires. Now that so basically transitioning to summer and the summer projects at hand. When I started using these firewood racks, I was unsure if I was going to be able to pick them up easily with the front end, how they'd handle. So I bought this 3-point attachment set of forks, which is really rugged. I used it I think once or twice. The capacity and the stability of these is much better than the front forks, but not quite as handy, particularly since I already have something on a 3-point hitch now. So I guess that'll put the do it to it. You saw most of that processing. There's just a little bit that it wasn't recorded. In real time, it was probably an hour, maybe an hour and a half for the two of us. You probably noticed my wife's bright orange jumpsuit. Well, she just got out of prison and they allowed her to keep that jumpsuit. No, she's not been in prison. Actually, I bought that for me, but it was a little bit small. I bought it online. The orange is kind of nice because in the fall time I don't have to worry about, putting up orange during hunting season. And it's nice to be visible if someone comes looking for you in the woods, if you're trapped under a tree or something. So that's the story behind that. A little bit small for me and a little bit big for her, but I guess on average it's perfect, right? So thanks for watching this video. I hope you stay tuned for others in the future. I appreciate it.